right, we can call this morning's meeting, the Downtown Business Improvement District bid for November 4th to order. We have a full acknowledgement of roll call in quorum today. If we could start with the approval of minutes from the October 9th meeting. If anyone's had a chance to read through them, if we could have an approval and a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Thank you. John, if you want to go ahead with the financial report?
Yeah, if you might consider, Phil was wondering if he could do his report first, if you don't mind moving report number 1 up, and then we'll go through the agenda in the normal order.
No, I don't mind at all.
Okay.
And Rebecca, just so you know, Phil from the Downtown Association just handed all of us an updated fall and winter schedule for what is all going on downtown, okay?
Good morning,
Fantastic.
everyone.
I'll check it out on the website.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me go early. I'll be very brief today. We have a number of things coming up, but some big things that are going to be coming in November. This week, we're going to be partnering with the city in the bid to have our annual Christmas tree lighting downtown. We are intending on having one of the Christmas market stalls that we're building on the street on Thursday to help promote that event, which will be coming up. That'll be everybody's first glance, hopefully at a completed unit. We're busily working at them over at St. Francis Cabrini right now, putting all the finishing touches on them. Our Autumn Wine Walk is coming up on the 22nd of November. We're hoping to get at least 500 individuals to participate in this again. This is an event that we know draws from well beyond West Bend, so we always love the events that bring people to our downtown that maybe have never been here before or only come here occasionally. We have our Chris Kindle Mark then, the big new event starting the weekend after that. It'll be the weekend of Thanksgiving. It will be held on 6th Avenue behind the offices of the Downtown Association, pretty much from Elm Street south to Hickory, kind of next to the post office. And we are hoping we have a big, huge event. There's been a lot of stir about it ever since we started promoting the fact that we got the grant from the city, and we're going to be moving forward with this back in August. A lot of preparations are underway. We've got our sponsorship all lined up. We've got the entertainment all lined up, working on getting volunteers now, and it's going to be a big ask, so I'll put that out there to anybody who's willing to help us with this new event. We'll need people for bartending and for food service and for cleanup and setup. That event is the first time that we're ever closing anything on 6th Avenue, and hopefully the 3-day closure around the holiday weekend is not going to be too much of an issue for businesses in the street. We are leaving open the back entrance for the post office, so they will still be able to get their vehicles in and out as they always do. We also have coming up our annual Polar Express cocktail event that we do with the downtown bars and restaurants. This week we'll be contacting all of them, asking them to create a special holiday cocktail that will be served from the 1st of December through our winter warm-up event, now renamed as the Winter on Main event, which will be mid-January. $2 of every one of those cocktails sold goes to the food pantry here in West Bend, so we're proud to be a part of that every year. We thank all the downtown bars and restaurants for their participation, and it's kind of a fun holiday event. So that really is all I was going to report on this morning. That'll take us through the end of the year. If anyone's got any questions about what's going on at the Downtown Association, I'd be happy to answer them.
I guess at the Chris Kindle Market, like what kind of, are you bringing in like crafty kind of things and food and like what's all going to be there?
We have 20 vendors.
Okay.
But we were very judicious in selecting vendors when we put out a solicitation. We wanted vendors that would be appropriate for this kind of a market. So it's not going to be like a flea market, and we're not going to have, 7 candle sellers. We tried to make sure that we only had one of every kind of vendor that might be appropriate. As I mentioned earlier, we have in construction 5 outdoor stalls, and then we also will have heated tents. Some of those vendors will be in our outdoor stalls. The majority of them will be in one of the heated tents. I'll give you an example. We have a chainsaw wood carver. We've got somebody who is selling Polish pastry items. We have people selling Christmas decorations. We will have some souvenir European glass ornaments for sale, as well as some of the traditional things you'd have at a Chris Kindle marked glühwein, and then we will have a souvenir cup that we have actually just had delivered yesterday. I probably should have brought them this morning to show you all. So that's a souvenir cup you can buy that's got the logo of the event on it, and then you can have your hot chocolate, your hot cider, or your mulled wine in that when you're at the event.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
So are we.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you, Phil.
Phil, I know the wine walk typically sells out, and I know VIP is sold out. Do you know how many tickets are left for the?
As of yesterday, I think we had 315, so we're a little shy yet of getting to our 500 mark, but we're putting a big push on
Okay,
this week to try to sell that out.
okay. We'll do it.
Just a small bit. I appreciate getting the card here to know everything that's going on. Is there anything other than just a reminder about the Small Business Saturday? Is there any kind of?
The different businesses downtown each do their own thing for Small Business Saturday. To be honest, it's not necessarily an event where there are discounts and sales going on. The whole intention of Small Business Saturday is to get people out to support local mom and pop type businesses. I should mention, thank you for bringing it up, Alderman Engelking. The whole weekend that we're having the Chris Kindle Mark, there's going to be other special activities going on with the downtown businesses. So throughout the weekend, we are going to have them participating in a very traditional German custom of finding the pickle ornament. So up to 20 of our downtown businesses are going to have small pickle ornaments hidden in their stores. Customers can go around, if they can find the pickle ornament and tell the staff person where it is, they get a chance to be entered into a raffle for some baskets of wine and other items that we'll have. And then Friday is Black Friday, so some of the downtown businesses will be having specials going on, sales for Black Friday. We will be promoting Small Business Saturday, so that's just going to be a promotion to come out and support local businesses, not necessarily sales. And then Sunday we have the annual Santa Claus bicycle event that's going to be going on that will make its rounds through the downtown and hopefully stop at the Chris Kindle Mark. And then, of course, at the end of the event will be the downtown parade.
Thanks. I'll definitely tell my kids about the Find the Pickle thing, I think.
Find the pickle thing, well, and the other thing is we have the traditional figure for Chris Kindle March, the Christkind, the angel figure that gives away, presents. So throughout the weekend, she will be wandering around, mostly giving gifts of candy to children. So
Great, great.
So fun.
any other questions?
Thanks, Phil.
Thank you for your time this morning. See everybody on Thursday.
Thanks, Phil.
Okay, now the financial report.
Yes, so the financial report, it is attached, and as with other months, you'll see a quick summary. We are generally on target with all of our different categories, and then there's a little bit of more detail that we've shown on the second sheet. So we don't have a December meeting, but, and I can't remember if we have, I think we also don't have a January meeting, but what we'll do is we'll give you sort of an end of the year summary. Will probably be in January, a little bit ahead of the February meeting, just so you kind of know where the year has ended. I don't expect many of our expenses will cross over too much into the next year. There might be a few random invoices that will be billed this year, but be covered in that first couple weeks of January. But be able to give you that summary, and then of course February we'll have a full final summary for you for the finances for 25. Any specific questions?
Motion to approve the financial report.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Oh, we have a discussion
Oh,
item.
sorry, we have discussion.
Sorry.
item.
No, it's so unimportant. I was just gonna say, I saw the charger station had one up. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
noticed that. That's
Yeah,
all.
I'm not down there every day, so I don't know if one of you guys have eyes on those parking spots, and you can actually see if we have a reoccurring car that maybe is there all the time, or if it's more random. I'm not really sure if it's just, yeah,
There are,
so.
there definitely are. Sorry, that's all. It's so unimportant.
Well, I think the dealerships are actually selling a lot more of them, and trends-wise, but yeah.
That's all.
Great, thanks for pointing that out.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion carries. Okay. So that covers both the financial and the detailed, correct?
Yes.
All
Yep,
right, so
yep.
then
We're on to,
going
on
up
to
for the
meeting schedule.
2026 meeting schedule.
Yes, the meeting schedule is attached to your packet. We've given you kind of a highlight of the months we'll be meeting. You'll recall a couple months ago, we did discuss trying not to meet every single month. And so we did develop sort of, we looked at past, just to, kind of give you a remember of that conversation. Ashley and I went through your past minutes and actually looked at when you actually had a lot of business to actually do, where versus where there was months where it was just sort of reports. And so we basically figured out, when sort of those action items are. So we figured out which months are less action, and so that's where we put that together. So you have 4 months where we wouldn't meet. Those would be January, April, July, and December. Of course, if for something came up that we really needed to take action on, we could certainly meet. And then we've highlighted February, March, May, June, August, September, October, and then just so you're aware, in November of 26, we have elections on the 3rd of November. And then what happens is we have some issues with this meeting room on that week. It's already booked. And then the following week, we've picked the 11th, which I know it's not our normal day, but court actually meets in here the other days, or it's their alternate date. So we basically ended up with November 11th by default of the room availability. So that's why it's a little odd from that perspective.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah, it looks good, thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, and then you've got consideration and recommendation to use some of the marketing dollars for funding of Discover Wisconsin promotional opportunity.
Yes, and I'll introduce that real quickly. Callie is our communication director with the city of West Bend, and there's an opportunity she's been working on between tourism, the chamber, parks department, et cetera. And so I'm just going to turn over to her, and she can present this potential opportunity.
Good morning. I included an item or a memo in the agenda packet, so you can reference that for a pretty good summation of what the opportunity is. I'm coming to you today because this opportunity came to my attention just fairly recently, and in order to confirm or take advantage of either a fall 2026 or spring 2027 schedule, which would be the earliest two, we would need to make a commitment by January to Discover Wisconsin. So I'm coming today to just present to you guys this opportunity and gauge interest and hopefully have action on this as well. So I wanted to go through a little bit of this. The opportunity is to have this kind of promotional packet, and you can see the campaign deliverables, 2 TV broadcast airings of 1 episode, so not 2 separate episodes, 6 streaming videos released, so that would be a breaking up of that episode into smaller vignette videos, and then some social and blog promotion of those episodes to go with it. Oh, and a podcast feature that goes along with it. The episode itself is, I believe it was like 20 or 25 minutes, and then there's 4 segments, they call it, as part of 1 episode. The city of West Bend did take advantage of this promotional package. I believe it was either 2019 or 2020, which we all know what happened in 2020. So that was kind of unfortunate timing, I imagine, for the city to invest in this and then have a lot of the things that they were trying to encourage people to participate in, I imagine, kind of shut down. What I am kind of anticipating, I'm still in the early stages of approaching people, but right now I have a commitment from the chamber that they would want to sponsor 1 of those 4 segments for the full episode. I'm considering other partners, but I envision the downtown being a part of this story, this tourism draw for West Bend. And I have sat through meetings and heard you guys have some discussion about your marketing dollars. The thing that I think is attractive about this is it's not just getting the videos made, it's guaranteed reach and placement, which if you have looked into advertising or media buys or anything like that, that's really where the money comes in, is having a guaranteed audience that you're sending it to. And with Discover Wisconsin, they have that built-in audience just because of the longevity and reputation of the program. I have a packet here from them, but they have, for example, 206,000 followers on their Facebook, 135,000 followers on Instagram. Their podcast is impressively 1.2 million downloads of episodes, and they have a reach into Wisconsin, naturally, but also Illinois and some of Minnesota. So they're doing the heavy lifting of getting the word out just by participating in this partnership. So my ask here is I would envision one of the segments, one of the 4 segments being devoted to downtown. I haven't fully fleshed out what that would look like, but certainly the revitalization of downtown is worth celebrating, the Riverwalk, and just the vibrancy of the downtown businesses is the general narrative that I would be looking to set up for Discover Wisconsin. And so with that, I'm asking for you guys to consider a portion that you might feel comfortable paying into that sponsorship.
I just have one question with regard. Is there any input with Discover Wisconsin as to when they highlight it? Like, I mean, you wouldn't want to be stuck with the most boring time of year in West Bend. You'd want to be highlighting when we got stuff going on that, or do they sort of do like a year-long look and then they, put it when they can fit it,
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if they discussed that specifically, but I think that certainly we have some leverage to kind of discuss timing depending on what ends up being highlighted in the episode. So, a lot of what we would probably look to do would be summer highlights. And so just initially, I'm thinking that the spring episode is probably going to be more conducive to us leading into that busy season for West Bend. If we do it anytime within the spring run time, it's probably going to be, same difference to some extent. But I guess once we kind of finalize that episode, then I can get into the details of what specifically will be the run schedule.
I mean, I think it could be a great opportunity. I was just pulled up their website, and they have all the episodes publicly available. So even if you didn't watch it on television, if you were researching what to do in Wisconsin, it could be right there next to Paranormal Wisconsin or The Forest or Baraboo or something like that. So I think that's it seems like not just a sort of one-time thing, but potentially some ongoing value for people if it's, and the production quality, of course, is good because they've been around for a while. So
Right. Yeah, production quality is excellent, and you do have that longevity because of the repository of the history of episodes.
Okay, but
Is there a way?
oh, sorry, go ahead, Rebecca.
That's okay, thanks. I'm wondering if there's a way, I know we can all get on the website, but for us to see a most recently developed content pack, is that possible for us to do a little research before deciding?
Sure. I can send that episode. I did include on the packet West Bend. Oh, I did put here 2020. So West Bend's previous episode, it would be a similar format. So you could look at the link that is provided on the agenda packet, but I could also get you a link to a municipality that's had an episode within the last session.
I can actually, from looking at the website, so it seems like the Tower Heritage Center got an
Yeah,
episode.
so they do, so they, Discover Wisconsin also has these, I think they're called Uniquely Wisconsin, vignettes that would be a little bit different than this, but the individual videos would feel similar to what, the segments of an episode would look like. So, Tower Heritage, I'm not sure if they're specifically Uniquely Wisconsin, but I know that it's something different. Not that that's super pertinent, it still is kind of, it's still it's a different tier of advertising ultimately that they're in.
Yeah.
Kelly, could you talk about a little bit the time frame?
Yeah, so Tony and I had met with the rep from Discover Wisconsin a couple weeks ago, and we asked, how soon would you need a commitment from us to do this? She had said January would be the preference. I will have to see if there's a little wiggle room on that, but especially if we're doing the spring 2027 cycle, that might give us a little more time for you guys to research this. I apologize that this is coming to you on short notice, but again, this is where I got the information timing wise as well. So January is the commitment that I've been asked to, or excuse me, January is the deadline I've been asked to meet by Discover Wisconsin. But if that's not a timeline that you guys are comfortable with, then I can certainly go and gather some more information.
I would suggest if you're not comfortable today, then we would meet in December for this topic. That would be my suggestion.
Just looking at the marketing budget, we have $8,000 and it's only 6 to do it. I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, our budget for next year is 10, so this would be, we would have rollover money from this year. We used rollover money this year that's actually going to fund some other things, but we'll have a budget of 10, so 6 isn't a little bit more than half, so you still have some other wiggle room in there, and we didn't have that 10,000 for next year specifically line item for anything in particular. We talked about different ideas, but we hadn't committed to anything specifically, so it's an option. If you think 6 is too much, you only want to pitch in a little less, something like that. I mean, you could potentially discuss that. It just means Callie has to find another component. I think if I'm correct, Callie, too, the way we talked about it was that it's 12-ish approximately for a segment. So what would happen is there would be a partnership with, it'd be the bid, and then remind me, Callie, who the other half was going to be. Was that Parks
Yes,
Park?
so this is nobody's agreed to this just yet, other than the chamber is committed to one segment. So I know in the past, MOA decided to do their own segment in order to equal one of the 4 pieces. I'd like to approach MOA again. Parks, Tourism Commission, I've just preliminarily approached Mike Yench about it. They haven't had a chance to discuss it in front of the committee, but Tourism Commission, this fits within the goal of that.
So I guess, so out of 4 segments, if you hypothetically think of MOA having one segment and Chamber having the other segment, then one of let's say the third segment, if it was half tourism and half bid, that would mean, the focus on downtown for that component. I would guess if there was less money, then it probably would be it'd probably be a quarter of a component rather than a half or something like that. So
Correct.
Basically, Callie's trying to bring in lots of different perspectives here. So just so you have a bigger idea that it's a larger amount total for the whole project.
Correct.
John, would this feature all the events and things from the year? I mean, winter events, and it wouldn't just be filmed this spring and
Correct, yeah.
Here.
That's why they need such a lead time commitment, because we want to get all of that footage and take advantage of really compelling B-roll for.
And they would coordinate with the city for whatever they have.
Correct, yeah, so I would be leading that effort
But I-
to help set them up with the opportunities, the best scenes to film.
But I think I think it would be kind of up in the air of whether it's a lot of the festivals and those types of things, or if there's spotlights on a business. Like, I don't know if you remember when John McGivern came, he did a couple little spotlights, and they were really, I mean, they were like 30-second sound bites on, like, I think the popcorn one was just like in front of the door, and it was super short, but, you know, there might be an opportunity to highlight a couple businesses or something like that too. So that kind of has to be still scoped out, I guess.
Yeah, I think my game plan whenever I work with opportunities like this is I'd almost work my way backwards. So to Rhett's point, I would look at what's the ideal drop date that we can get and agree upon with Discover Wisconsin. And then from there, what are the most advantageous things timing wise for us to promote within that? So there is some storyboarding to figure out with it still, but certainly, you know, I've worked with these types of opportunities before in my previous careers, and so I know how to leverage that placement.
Can the businesses chip in for a spotlight, for example? Like if I give you $1,000 to spotlight us for, you know, a minute or something?
I didn't,
Yeah,
off the top of my head, my first thought is, I don't know, I'm always a little concerned about being equitable and how do I give that opportunity to people, and if I have more desired spotlights than what we have time for in the segment, I don't know how I'd figure that out, but I can think about it, because we still have some portion of the cost to
My only concern too about that is the messaging. I mean, you're trying to promote, we're trying to, it's Discover Wisconsin, it's supposed to really be all about sort of West Bend and as a whole. And I could easily see some businesses downtown saying, well, I pay into the bid, I do all these things, but now you're saying in order to get promoted, I have to now ante up more. So it's kind of, people could start that conversation of pay to play. Sorry, I was getting it backwards. And would that conversation happen? I don't know, but you know,
what, yeah, and I guess
and there are some businesses that might just have larger checkbooks that could do that more often.
Yeah,
and-
Jeremy, we all don't have all your money.
yeah, I was gonna say, I think you want to be careful about introducing the competition. Like, we have like several jeweler stores downtown. If you highlight one, the others are like, well, what about us? Or, or several bars downtown, and why would we just highlight one and not the other? I think there's if you're using the bid, which everybody pays into, you want to be careful about like emphasizing one person over the other or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably why you're going to have, you'd have, correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, but probably more like wide filming of like, Main Street and bigger shots of the Riverwalk, and you're going to probably get, photos of multiple storefronts and signage and different streets and things like that. So it's giving you a perception and an idea of what West Bend is.
I take it these are archived in some way, and then if you feature a business that's no longer there, when somebody looks at it down the road, that's kind of not a good look also.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, correct. I think that's also, as I was thinking through this, also why I would steer towards doing holistic, look at downtown, just in case any one business, maybe turns over within the timeline.
And I mean, it seems like it'd be an opportunity to highlight things that are brand new, like, not that I'm favoring this, but for example, we're talking about a fire museum. I don't know where that's going to be when they start filming, but if it is the brand new thing, or if we're just highlighting, for example, all the money that we put into the riverfront and what that's, I think that seems like something that could be equitable for everybody, because it's a draw and it's not necessarily pushing profit over somebody, but those seem like the kind of considerations, I guess. If you're using the bid, but if you fall short of the amount of money, then I guess maybe consider, well, if someone's going to get the extra bit, maybe we could promote that business a little bit in this, I don't know, in this segment.
Yeah. I'm approaching the bid because I view this entity as a collective organization that's looking out for a collective good, I should say. And so to some of these points, I maybe will need to go to individual businesses to make up the difference, but I don't think I'm at that point yet. And as you guys are all discussing, it opens up a little bit of a can of worms when we try and cherry pick individuals over others, because who am I to decide who's worthy of a spotlight and not?
Well, it
I guess
seems-
I don't want to pay $6,000, though, if it's going to be between us and the chamber and MOA and the tourism authority. If all of them are going to get an opportunity to showcase all of their stuff and we're paying the bill for them, then it should be split equally. If it's just going to be showcased between us and the chamber and we're splitting it equally, then that's fine. But if they're going to be showcasing their stuff as well, then it should be split equally.
Correct. So chamber is footing the bill, they're
Can you
paying,
start off with what the total is and then break it
Yeah.
down?
so the total is.
13,120.
That's for one segment. So the total for an episode, excuse me, I'm getting these terms interchanged here, is, what is it, 52? What is 13,000 but times 4?
52.
52. So the total price is 52 for, and that's why I need to meet each of those 4 individual $13,000 bills, because obviously 52 is a large sum of money for any one entity. But by breaking it up into 4 different segments, they call it segments, but I would think of the segment as your own little episode. But they package it into one total, airing.
So we're looking at the chamber committing 13,000, potentially MOA committing 13,000.
Correct.
And then the thought was that the bid would sponsor half of one segment, which is where you get to the 6,000.
This is
Which
the
is a lot.
marketing world.
It is a lot. It's a
It
lot
is
of
a lot
money
of money.
overall, as well as just for the bid. I guess my other question: have you approached the Downtown Association?
Not yet.
I
You guys had the first meeting, so you
and
have
I
the
guess I'm
pleasure of
wondering,
being my-
a lot of our downtown, probably from a bid perspective, there are some events that are related to the bid, and there's the infrastructure that the bid does, like, there's the EV charging stations, things like that. There's the Christmas, a significant amount of the bid's budget goes to Christmas. But a lot of the festivals are put on by the association. I don't know if, and I'm throwing this out there, and it might be, Callie and I didn't talk about it, but maybe that focus on downtown, that 6, maybe it's 3 from the bid, 3 from the association. It addresses both bid and events sponsored by the association, and then that might be a little, it's probably going to be a little more than 3,000. I guess we're rounding down in our conversation, but maybe that's a little less of an impact, or maybe more of a.
Yeah, I would definitely be supportive of that, because if we think about owner ROI, I mean, we'd want to generate activity, but to me, it's more connected to the Downtown Association.
That's where my clarification was I don't want to step on toes for Phil, because he's marketing how to come down to downtown and be here downtown. Our role is kind of like, hey, it's a great place to do business downtown. You should have your business down here. So I was wondering how that was going to tie in. Now, overall, I'm in favor of creating something like this for up to $6,000. But I just want to make sure the scope is correct, because I don't want to have us doing things the Downtown Association, which you brought up, is correct. But what we're here about business and having your business down here. But
I appreciate that perspective. I would also say your role is to help those businesses be successful, though. And you do have marketing dollars set aside, and I've heard you guys grapple with, well, what do we do with this? In the world of advertising, I know that this sticker price, the 52,000, is like, wow, that's a lot of money. That is, I want to emphasize that sticker price, yes, you're getting videos out of it, but what you're really paying for with this opportunity is the reach, the guaranteed reach. So they have these built-in tremendous audiences with their Facebook, Instagram.
I'll say if we had $10,000 and we wanted to try to do something and just say, what can we do for $10,000 that would give us the same reach? I don't think we'd be able to come up with.
Correct.
I mean, it
You
is a
would
big,
not.
it is a big.
You
thing,
could
and
get,
have to
you could
realize-
get one billboard in a regional location for, a little less than 10,000.
And
But point being, if you start to add up all of these outlets that are part of this package, you're not gonna come close to it with, $6,000.
Right, and I actually don't, maybe I'm the contrarian here. I don't think it's that expensive.
No.
For what you're gonna get, and if you're trying to attract business down here and also supporting the business down here, like, oh, wow, they're gonna invest in the community, look what they're all doing. You're gonna have it now, and plus you've got all the archives. So like I said, I won't be able to be here December if you go that way, but I'm supportive of it, so that's my vote.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I'm for it. I'm for it.
I agree.
I think
Social
for
media is
what we-
huge.
What we spend on other things and what we put our money towards, I think that this is a really positive $6,000.
Yeah, I mean, well, I definitely see the potential for good as long as there's sort of a good, if you're having multiple funders, a good coordination about like what is our individual bid, paying for. I think the thing that I also, this is more of your realm of communications, but I would wonder, so we have all these things, like what is our ability to keep promoting, like, we don't have to charge to put it on our website. They're not gonna because we would want to use this kind of stuff into the future as much as possible.
Correct. We get access to the assets, so the finished products. We're not going to, some opportunities like this would give you full access to like their B-roll library. That's not part of this. We don't need that, frankly. Again, what I'm interested in is the guaranteed placement, the reach and promotion that's with it.
I also agree the reach is phenomenal, and we need to reach outside of here to bring people in. I would also think that would be a great investment myself.
Yeah, essentially, this is someone's catching a social media ad or the video or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, what we're gonna do this weekend?" And
Right. Well, even him
somebody
just
looks
pulling
at their
that up,
spouse
now
and
I want to
says-
now start following this because he just pulled it up, and I'm like, oh, I want to start following this because I want to now see what is around Wisconsin. So I'm going to start following that page just because I didn't know about it personally. I'm like, oh.
Discover Wisconsin, I will say, has a really great reputation, and I put a note in there. I didn't know this even. It's the nation's longest running tourism television program, so they've built up that equity.
1987 it started, yeah.
Yeah, so they're very reputable, and long and short, I'm dropping a lot on you, but I appreciate the questions. Keep any other questions that I can field in this immediate.
What, outside of the investment, what other input would we have as the bid board? Any?
We can figure that out. What input would you like on it? I've given you my.
No.
You
I
want to be
just,
a model walking down the
No,
street?
just don't want to be ambushed at the end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
certainly. Yeah, what my next steps would be once I figure out what the funding sources for this will be, that will frankly determine the screen time, so to speak. So I want to honor that financial commitment to those people that are putting money in. And so it will be kind of equivalent to the amount invested, how I frame, or not just me, but how that is framed in the episode. Does that kind of make sense? Okay.
And I'm going to guess that because Discover Wisconsin has been doing this for so long, they've actually probably honed their business in such a way that they probably know what shots are better, whether they're from a drone, whether they're on street, whether from a pedestrian level, all those types of things. So
Yeah, and I think I said this, but I just want to reiterate, my interest for the downtown is showing the revitalization of just how beautiful the downtown looks, the Riverwalk, how attractive it is for a visitor to come and just be in downtown and shop, eat, etc. And so less of a pointed, this business is down here, more the totality of all of it together, because that has not been showcased since the last episode that West Bend did, because it wasn't in existence yet. And I think that that's something that, just anecdotally, I hear people who haven't been to West Bend in a while come back and they're like, whoa, it looks so different. And they're talking primarily about that downtown and Riverwalk. And just visually, it looks beautiful. And that, I think, is gonna go a long ways to just show the visual, the aesthetic of what
It's an
downtown is looking
experience.
like.
They come and having a whole experience and an
Yes.
entire day of so many different things to do.
Correct.
I could say too, I appreciate the emphasis in highlighting what is new. Simply because, as I said, like, you can access past episodes in West Bend that highlight specific areas, and anybody could do that at any time, but like what hasn't been on there is, I
What
think,
haven't you seen yet?
yeah, I think that's something that really what benefits people, because you want to get the sense that there is something happening and moving, and not just sort of like, oh, let's go back to the places we always go in West Bend and let's
Correct.
talk about the West Bend Company. Well, that's not that's not even around anymore. So, yeah.
Correct.
I would like to make a motion. I like what she's doing. Trust Kelly. Collaborate with us along the way if you would. Feel free to reach out to Phil at downtown. Make sure he's included. Up to $6,000.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Thanks for being excited about this opportunity. I look forward to representing you guys. I will just say that I take the role of representing your investment seriously, and I want to honor that. So it'll be good, I promise.
Okay, moving on, let's see, Bill's already here. John, the bid facade grant committee.
yeah, so the bid facade grant committee met last month. We discussed the upcoming program, so we are all set. You'll see the website and everything go live tomorrow for the applications. So that will be from tomorrow until I think the 8th of December, and then we've also picked the dates for spring. So those are actually out there, so people have a little bit advance knowledge of what those application deadlines are there. We did go through and kind of cleaned up some of the guidelines. There was just some sentences and things we tweaked. And then there's also some things I found that we had a limit of how much a facade grant would be, but we've actually been giving out facade grants larger than that amount. So I didn't realize that was happening. So I just, since you guys have been voting on larger amounts, I just raised it up to sort of the amount that has the largest amount that's been given out. So from that perspective, so that will be out there tomorrow. Those people that we have had contact with last spring and summer with regard to potential opportunities, we've reached out individually with an email, and then there'll be an email going out to all the property owners and people on our email list, so they should be notified too. So if you know of anybody, or you know of your next door neighbor or somebody like that, I'd be glad to meet with them and walk them through the process from that perspective, whether they're ready to prepare to submit now, or we want to spend the winter working with them to be ready for spring from that perspective. So we'll see what applications we get in. We are releasing it about a month earlier. I'd hope for October. Last year, I think it went live like the first or second week of December. We kind of talked about trying to get it a little bit sooner in the year so that it's not quite, we're not asking people to give us something in a 4-week period from the second week of December to the first week of January, which everybody else is really busy. So we'll see if it works out a little bit better for people.
Wonderful. And then also, for those that didn't catch that, we also are doing a second application series in the spring. So we've always just done it once a year, and we felt that that wasn't giving people an opportunity who had projects throughout the year. So we're hoping that we'll get more applications this way as well.
And we have
So-
one application. I think they're finishing up some items in the next week or two. So that grant will probably be awarded in full to that property owner. We have 2 other properties that based on some news this week and just driving by, I'm hesitant to say that they're going to actually have their work done by February. So we may have some of that rotating back into the funds.
Okay. The tree lighting ceremony,
Yeah,
Thursday, 2 days.
Tree lighting ceremony is on Thursday. I think we're all set. Ashley and I went downtown yesterday, and it lit up in the middle of the day. So we'll try to check it again tomorrow and maybe Thursday morning just to make sure there's nothing weird going on. But Blingle did a great job. I don't know if any of you saw, but the amount of effort to put that tree together in terms of winter weatherizing it so it doesn't short out or anything like that is a lot of man hours to put that together. So, and then they were over the last few days, got wreaths and other things up throughout downtown and along the Riverwalk. So that's working on that. And then, so we did buy some new ornaments. So some of those balls out there might be a little bit shinier red. We do probably need to buy more for next year, but we did buy some, and we spent about 120 for 120 ornaments. We spent about $1,600 for that, and then I talked to Peggy the other day. There's some wreaths that are hung on Main Street south of Walnut. The balls were broken. The wreaths are orange. Ashley and I went and looked, and we're like, these don't look good to put up. So we bought new bows and some new red balls to put on them, and we'll reattach them, all of that kind of thing. They'll probably go out next week, a little later, but Public Works has to use a lift to put them up, so they might not be out for but those wreaths, I think, are somewhere like 8 years old. So, and the wreaths were actually in great shape. They don't light up, but they're great from that perspective. So a little bit of investment in some supplies kind of refurbishes them. So, and they'll be the same bows. The other bows were cloth. The bows downtown are more of a plastic. They seem to do better not fading and that kind of thing. So hopefully we'll get more longevity out of those.
Okay.
So, and then I think the only other real change, we had some people make comments that the garland on the bridges shouldn't be hung on the inside of the walkway, but on the outside. So we asked Blingle to do that, and they had to do a little bit of calisthenics to get their arms to the outside of the bridge. But I think it really looks from if you haven't seen it, take a walk along the Riverwalk. But now when you look from a vista perspective, you can actually see the garland on the bridges. So I think it actually does improve that long distance view. So hopefully you guys like that slight change. So.
Hey, John.
Yes.
I've had a couple people mention to me that they thought the tree was leaning. Did you notice that when you were down?
The tree does lean, and the tree probably always will lean. It leaned last year. The plaza that it's on actually is tipped. So if you go onto the plaza and you actually look at the slant of the concrete, it pretty much lines up with the slant of the tree. If you were to try to level that tree out, I think you'd actually make it a lot more unstable, because it really needs to be on a full flat surface. It's actually weighted on the inside. So, and it will blow a little bit in the wind.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
It
Thanks
will.
for that.
Yeah. Yep. I've noticed the same thing last year. It's just, if you go on the plaza and you stand there and you look at the slope, and then you look at how much the angle of the tree is, it kind of aligns up.
There's no danger of tipping, I imagine.
I never noticed it.
Yeah, because it's,
I know.
yeah.
I'm not going to answer that question.
Well, yeah, I don't wanna put you in
anything.
the
I
liability,
mean, I don't know.
but
If you put Christmas decorations up in your yard, usually some big wind might blow bows or something away.
Yeah,
So,
I know, I mean, not that you're gonna do it with this tree, but I know we always reinforce stars with fishing line or something like that, but
I mean, it's been up 5 years. It's survived 5 years. I think we've had some pretty big wins in that time frame. So I think we'll be fine.
Okay. All right, any items for discussion for future agenda items? I can't believe it'll be next year when we see each other. John, were you going to discuss the gold level community?
So for the gold level community, for connected communities, we did get an opportunity to, we get one facade drawing. We get some extra benefits because staff went to classes and things like that. I've kind of been talking to a few people to see if their interest would be with that. So it is a facade sketch. It's not a construction drawing or anything like that, but trying to see if there's somebody who has interest. And what I really want to do is, if we can provide that free design sketch, is that person actually interested in moving forward? Do they have plans to do something with their building? There's certainly lots of buildings downtown that are worthy of the opportunity, but since it's sort of a one-time thing with one building, I kind of just want to make sure that at least verbally somebody has some idea that they're planning on. So I've talked to a few shop owners and some business owners, so we'll see where that. We have the whole year to figure that one particular out, so I think I'll keep talking about it, and then if it can match up with some facade money at the spring session, that might be great too.
I'm wondering if I can just make one more comment on that. I was chatting with Tracy about it, and if we go through, and I know many of us who own buildings on Main Street and have gone through the pain of the improvement process, I would love for us to have some sort of qualification of financial worthiness to do the work, because we're all paying in and having someone say, oh, that would be great to draw up something, but then there's no pull through. That to me is just like burning dollars. So I'd want to make sure that they had the resources to do the improvements so that it's not just us doing a creative process, if
Sure.
that makes sense.
Yep, we can do that.
All right, any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to add to like either February, March agenda. I know John and I kind of talked before the facade grant about the difference between Main Street and 6th Avenue. And we kind of were talking about trying to bring some of maybe that Main Street, up to 6th Avenue to kind of make us feel like we're part of the whole downtown, and maybe even up the road a little ways on Main. So part of what we talked about was the potential of because there's so many of those flower pots downtown, that the potential of maybe bringing a couple of them up and putting them in certain areas on 6th Avenue and maybe up on Main. I know John said that it's obviously not the ones with the trees in, but some of them might be a little bit easier to be able to pick up and move in spring, to be able to, bring those flowers and all that stuff up, and then kind of start making that up 6th Avenue on those a little bit. So just something to think about, but I thought maybe we could kind of talk about that too and see what your guys' thoughts are, if that would be something we might want to do. I know there's certain areas downtown, I've talked to some of the businesses that, they were really overloaded with a lot in front, especially, bars and restaurants and things like that, where they'd like to have a little more seating room for their people in summer and whatever. So it might be kind of an idea to bring some of those up and, kind of.
Spread them out a little bit.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so I thought maybe
So
we could
I've
add.
already talked to Parks, so that's something we can certainly do. The smaller ones are much more manageable. In order to move them, we actually probably have to empty out the dirt and do other things, so it isn't just like
Yeah.
it's not like picking up a flower pot on your patio. And so spring would be a good time to do that. So at some point during the winter, we'll walk through. There's some parts on 6 where the sidewalk's a little tight, so we don't want to make tight sidewalks tighter, but we'll try to look for those particular kind of opportunities from that perspective. And just, maybe we can find a little bit more space on Main Street and that kind of thing. From a maintenance perspective, the plant cost isn't going to probably go up at all. Watering might take a little bit more time because they might have to, their route might be a little bit different, but the time at each pot really won't be much from that perspective either. And there might be a learning curve too in terms of if we move a pot that was in part sun, now is all of a sudden full sun or something like that. But yeah, they thought it was a possibility, but it would take some effort, a little bit of effort, and planning.
All right, great.
Yep.
Good plan. Okay.
Motion for adjournment.
Motion of, is there a second? All right, so moved. All right, happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.